Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share a reading for the full moon in Aquarius. And today I actually pulled a rune. I haven't been working with the runes for such a long time, but I really felt that they were calling me today. And I think it is because this full moon is, it's in a way, it is something that we have all been waiting for a long time. It's like this is the beginning of the shifts that we have been preparing for years now. And so I guess that's why I felt pulled towards the runes, because they speak about these bigger cycles a lot of the times. The rune that did come out was Raido, in reverse actually. And so I don't know what you can see on the screen, but the rune Raido is like an R. And it is now in reverse. And first of all, what I want to mention to kind of give you the feeling of this, what I feel is happening now, is that Raido, to me, it's like a rider. It's someone that sits on top of a force and is kind of able to ride on a force. It's like it's been able to somehow tame this force, and then it just uses it as a form of transportation, as a drive. Almost, it's a little bit parasitic in a way, but it's the way that life catches rides with other life, that's how we do it here on Earth. But that's what I feel, in the upright, it's someone that's in control, able to ride this force and use it to their advantage. But in reverse, it's almost like we're being kicked off that force. It's like we're being kicked off our high horses, in a sense. And so the rider archetype, the knight, the knight that sits on top of the horse. For me, the Raido rune coming out in reverse, it really speaks about that shift of the night, the fire energy, the light energy, really beginning to manifest now here on Earth. And then I think it's also, and then another thing that I also want to share with this rune is that in the upright it speaks about union. Really it's about like heaven and earth coming together and forming a bond, a union. And again, coming out in reverse, it's almost as if heaven and earth are separating. It's like they had the bond, an old union, but that union is now being destroyed, is what it feels like. It's almost as if the earth is rejecting the old version of heaven. It's like the earth is rejecting the old gods. And if we look back and we see what have been our gods during, for instance, patriarchy, the god was the god that was so powerful that he just needed to speak a few words and then creation just appeared around him. That's the model of our current god that we hold. That's kind of our model of masculinity, in a sense, individuality. And so I feel that archetype of being very word focused, very word centered, not being able to understand information if it's not communicated through words, that's something that will begin to be severely challenged at this point in time, is what I'm feeling. The earth is rejecting it because she's saying, like, you don't even see me, like you're blind to me and I'm such a force. So, I guess I will show it to you then. And so it's a very powerful energy right now, and the earth, the feeling that comes from the earth is like she's really calling back those of us that are able to hear her. That's what it feels like. She's like now is the time to come back to me. Like, now is the time to reconnect to all traditions. Now is the time to create union with me so that you can learn how to, in a sense, feed yourself, heal yourself, take care of yourself and your communities without the need of this patriarchal structure. And so remember that as I'm saying these things, it's like these forces are coming into our space. They are coming into our space, and we will feel them both. We will feel that old God that is beginning to be shaken, and is beginning to fall and collapse. And of course, that will produce a lot of fear in our body, but then we will also feel the earth. And so I think that our jobs as individuals, our purpose as individuals, is really choosing how we want to blend and merge, and in a sense learn to ride on these new forces that are coming in now. And so it's a very powerful time of exploration, and of becoming aware. I really feel it's like to be able to navigate the energies that are coming in now, we really have to be aware. We can no longer go on habit, because chances are that a lot of those habits are built on the old system where the word and the big man is kind of the god of everything. It's the highest we can rise to, is this superior light being. That whole story is I feel beginning to be shaken. So let's see, let's pull some cards here and see what comes through. I just wanted to, where are my runes? Oh, they're here. Sorry guys, I just have to put my runes back, or put the rune back in its bag. So let's see. When I did get that rune, the rider rune, I was like, okay, so I have to use the rider Waite for this, the rider Waite deck, because it's so, I don't know, I never really thought about it in that way. Like, that name probably means something, it's probably some kind of a sigil, or I don't know. I know it's the name of the guy, I think, that kind of created it, was the mastermind behind it, but I don't know. There are always synchronicities everywhere. So it's like, what kind of rides are we choosing right now? What are our driving forces? There's a lot of changes also to our car park, right? It's like, what kind of forces are we using to power our drives? It's interesting. So let's see. Okay. Wow. Okay, wow. Wheel of Fortune coming out, and underneath the deck is the Judgment card. This is, yeah, like I spoke about, it's like these are part of the shifts that we have been prepping for a long time. It feels like it's happening now, it's manifesting now. And the Judgment card is a card that I've been thinking about a lot lately, or this year, because it's like, it's the 20, it's part of the vibration of the 2020s. This entire decade is kind of like a year of judgment. And if you look at the card, you see that these people are rising from coffins, first of all, at the sound of the trumpet. But in the background, you also see that there are ice melting. And so when the ice melts, it's a synchronicity saying that the form is changing. And in a sense, it's a message also to our humans, to us humans, saying that you can no longer keep going in the same way that you have. You can no longer only use the same forces as you have to drive you forward. you know, you're killing yourself. And so I think that the forces that we've been using, you know, the essence of masculinity over the past, I guess, centuries, it's really been desire. You know, desire drives us forwards. What we want drives us forwards. And it's also been linked to our beliefs. Again, it comes back to the word, right? What we believe and what we think, those are the main drivers. And so again, I don't think I'm gonna go into all of those old systems in this video. Maybe I'll make other videos, but I think it is really a time to reflect upon these aspects of ourselves. You know, what does our mind consist of at this point in time? Is it even receptive and open to the messages that comes from the earth? You know, that tells us to change our ways, to walk down new paths with the Wheel of Fortune. And also how to kind of make that abundant for ourselves. Because I feel like a lot of the times we're just stuck in these old truths, in a sense. Like, for instance, this year, I felt really called to start to learn how to grow my own food. And when I did that, at the point I realized, like, you know, we go around saying that we need money to survive, but really that's not true. You know, if we're willing to collaborate, we don't actually need money. Like, if I'm willing to collaborate with the earth, if I'm willing to collaborate with other people, if I'm willing to serve, to work for free, because I really see value in what I do, and I choose to do it, then there is no need for money, really. And so with this, I don't mean that, you know, like, let's get rid of money. I think that money is a kind of genius. It's a genius invention. But there is that need that we need to get rid of. You know, we don't need it. We can choose to have it, but we don't need it to live. And so I feel that, again, it's really a time, I feel, when the earth is calling back everything. She's saying, like, you know, you are still in manifested form. You're still in matter. And so I'm going to pull you back now. I'm going to pull you back to earth, you know, I'm going to ground you. And depending on how we're able to perceive that within our own mind, depending on the kind of the existing system that we have, either will we experience that as a homecoming, you know, as like we're coming back to earth, or we will experience that as a falling, you know, as a falling from our graces. And so maybe a little bit of both. But I think that understanding these kinds of forces and dynamics that are at play now can help us to just become so much aware of our own mind and how it is currently manifested. And I really think that that's the key with the Wheel of Fortune here, because it is something about being able to zoom out and see things for what they are. Not get lost in these drives, you know, in these, like, we've been so used to, it's like we've been so used to riding this one force that the second we feel it, we just jump on top of that force and we start riding it. It's like, it's almost like the force owns us in a way, is what I'm feeling. And so it's getting ourselves able to detach a little bit from these forces or these feelings, you know, that come through us, and instead of just like jumping on top of them, getting into that flow straight away automatically, it's almost like we're being guided to pull back a little bit and to start to question whether this ride is something that we want to continue to take. You know, is it in alignment with what the earth, for instance, is calling us to do at this point in time? Is what I'm feeling. I want to pull another card as well, because I see that my battery is running a bit low though, so, ooh, wow, okay, 2 more major arcanas, the moon, and then the tower. And underneath the tower is the 10 of swords, and then the knight of wands, the rider, the big rider. So, let's see here, what is this? Yeah. With the moon, I really feel drawn to, you know, it's like we have been a period of time, it's like many of us, I think those that I'm reading to now, you, like I said, I think that this is something that on some kind of level we have been sensing this change that's coming now. It's like we've been subconsciously preparing for it. And if you look at this crayfish here, it's been inside the waters, you know, it's like it has been inside the womb of the universe, really just receiving subconscious messages around this shift that is coming in now, kind of moving us into new directions. And now it's time, I feel, to come out of the waters a little bit as we begin to lay down the bricks of these new paths. Now is the time, I feel, when we will begin to walk these new ways that we have been creating into life. It's like, I'm seeing that it's almost like our footsteps will become new paths, new ways for the collective. For those that have been doing this work and really been, you know, receiving from the Big Mother, the Divine Feminine, the Universal Womb. It's almost like, you know, it's like children of the earth somehow. And for those people, it's like they're gonna start to really manifest like completely new things. Like, I don't know, it's so weird when I'm looking at it inside my subconscious. It's like, because it's like pulling from all different timelines. You know, it's like some things, some like practices we're pulling from past lives, especially regarding, you know, the practices with the earth. You know, there's a lot of old knowledge being kind of called back, but there's also pulling from the stars. You know, it's like pulling from the new light, the new masculine archetype that we're building, you know, the new kind of individual that we are like putting down as a model in a sense. So like I said, in the past, the model for individuality, it's been very focused around identity and desires, you know, what we want and the image, you know, what we want to become, things like that. And so it's shifting. The model for individuality is shifting into something different, into something more healthy, is what I'm feeling. And so I think that this is a testing time in the sense that old structures are really beginning to fall, ground, return to home, whatever you want to see it as. But that's also the blessing of this. It's almost like we have been in a period of time when the societies we have been creating have been almost like cities of light. You know, it's like they've been in the clouds. They've been very focused around mind and perception and the word, what we label them as. That has been like the important thing. And now those cities of light are beginning to ground, and so they will be faced with truth, you know, the truth of reality. Is the window of life wide enough to allow these cities of light to ground? Or have we been completely delusional as a collective? You know, have we not been living in reality at all? And so I feel that for some of us, the ones that have been actually connected to the earth and to reality and to truth, now is when you will start to see your manifestations come alive, because they were true in a sense. It was true. But the areas where we have been, you know, in a sense, delusional, where we have not been understanding reality correctly, we will also see that. You know, we will see the things that we thought were real collapsing because they no longer have a place on Earth. The Earth is shedding those forces, those energies. And so, again, I think it might be a challenging time, but it's also a time of extreme liberation. And again, I really feel the Earth calling us. You know, she's like, come back to me, like, bond with me, and I will give you peace, is what I'm really feeling. And I really feel that now. Today when I went into the forest to do this reading, it's so quiet. It's like I didn't see any animals, except of course birds and insects and stuff, but no big animals. Everything was quiet. Just like no wind, nothing, just complete stillness. Except all of the machines working in the background over here. So yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. And I know, I can feel it. The earth is really guiding us. So listen to the earth, come back to your home, your body, yourself, you know, your truth. And then I think that this shift is just like a beautiful time of homecoming. So take care, guys. Goodbye.